one of the directors, our Zoom seminar, one of the directors, and I don't remember who, because I'm not that great with names, said, and think about this, ladies, if you've been given God-given leadership skills, then for God's sake, lead. And that kind of hit me upside the head like a ton of bricks. I didn't do anything about it then, but it was kind of like that little niggling in the back of your head. It was always there because I have been blessed with leadership skills. And I know that I've been a leader in other professions, in my church and in other areas of my life. So I knew the skills were there. I just didn't want to do it. But that just kept niggling at me. Okay, am I not fulfilling and utilizing the skills that the good Lord has given me? Am I slacking, as it were, slacking on the job, so to speak? And then the pandemic hit. And I guess before that, the pandemic hit. And I had to really embrace technology. If I didn't want to starve or end up at Walmart, well, it wouldn't have made any difference because Walmart was closed anyway. I needed to really pivot and learn technology if I wanted to survive. And so I did. I did what I could online with Mary Kay. And I have a couple of recruits. One of them in particular, who is my debuting red jacket, she's a millennial, and there isn't anything she doesn't know about technology. And she was a really, really big help. And then we started doing practice. Carol would have practice parties where we could bring our guests and have them. And then she would have me every now and then do the skincare class for her. And so I learned, and I started doing Zoom parties on my own. I started embracing the technology, and I got a Scipio account, which you may or may not know about, but it's through Mary Kay. And there are many others programs available, but it's a texting service. And I like Scipio because it's in sync with Mary Kay, and you can join it on In Touch, and your customer base is automatically linked. So you don't have to manually put them in. Now, there are other less expensive.
Yeah,
there are other less expensive companies out there, but you have to manually input your customer. I've got over 200 customers. I'm too lazy to input them manually. I'm sorry, it wasn't going to happen. And so I started in October pushing Christmas, and I would post graphics. And what you can do is you can send a link, a text message out to everybody at one time, but they think they're the only one getting it. And I could post pictures in there. I could upload pictures. I could upload graphics. So I started doing that, but I also got my own YouTube channel. And that's really easy to do, and it's free. Very easy to, if I can do this, you guys can do this. I got my own YouTube channel, and I started posting daily, almost daily, 2 to 4 minute videos on a single product. So I did the 12 days of Christmas. So here's the product of the day, ladies, kind of like QVC, yada, yada. And then I would have a sale for that product, and I would post it. It would go to all my customers. I had a $6,000 December. I had a $3,000 or something like that November. My sales in October, November, December were going through the roof. So in October, I was actually on target for my car as a consultant. But then I think it was in November, I fell out. And Rebecca said, do you know that it's much easier to earn a car as a director than as a consultant? And I thought, yeah, right, sure. But I looked up the requirements, and it is the monthly production is not as much as a director as it is a consultant. Plus, you can utilize the production of your entire team, first and second tier, first and second line. As a consultant, you can't. You're totally dependent on your own personal production and your own personal team. So in November, I started thinking in this direction. And in December, I'm thinking in this direction. And then in December, God started dropping women. At the beginning of December, I had 5 people. To go into DIQ, you need 10. About the 15th, people started dropping out of the sky. I was in the middle of a Zoom, and one lady called and said, I'm online. I just signed up again under you. And the next day, another person that I'd been layering for like 2 years finally signed up. So, and the last one was my niece who came over, I think, the day after Christmas. And so I entered DIQ on January 1st with my 10 people. So, you know, God's working. Yes.
Was it something that you said to these people, or did they just randomly just ask to join your team? Was it something specifically, like, were you asking that you were so close to your goal to finish?
The one gal I hadn't seen in over a year, and I'd seen her on Facebook tracking her, but I hadn't seen her, talk to her in over a year. She just called me up out of the blue and was on the internet, on In Touch, signing up. Totally random. The other gal was a customer that Rebecca and I have interviewed a couple of different times, and no was always the answer. And she, out of the blue, called and said, I think I'm ready to do this. So it wasn't that I hadn't had contact with her, but it wasn't like I was, okay, I'm on target, I want to go into my so on and so forth. Now, the last one, my niece was. I had called her when I was online for the car, and she said, well, if it comes down to the car and you only need one person, then I'll do it. So I called her up like the day after Christmas, and I said, remember when you said, and so I said, well, I need one more to go into qualification. And so she signed up then and there. But it isn't like you get some magic and it's over and done with. It took me a couple months of DIQ to kind of figure this out. And also, the biggest problem you have with recruiting, and I think I'm pretty typical, it's between your ears. It's up here, it's in your head. And it's, oh, what do they think about? Well, you know, what if they say no? Well, then they're not going to like me again. Then they're not going to want to be my customer again. And this over and over and over again. And working with Rebecca, especially the last month, she is the absolute queen of thinking outside the box as far as finding financing for them. Now, when you're in DIQ, you cannot financially help any of your people in any way, shape, or form. They have to find their financing and whatever, any way they can. Well, Rebecca was really good at that, and she would come up with ideas. And I'd think, well, I would have never thought of that. That would have never occurred to me. And it was, that kind of thing was just constant. But listening to her and watching her opened up my thinking to other opportunities. For example, I'm praying, it's the last 2 days, last day maybe, I think it's the 30th. I'm really fighting to stay focused because it's looking like the beginning of December, I needed 20 some people. I needed 20 people the 1st of December to finish. 20 people I needed. And so I went outside with my list of people and prayed. And when I stood up, the good Lord put someone's name in my head that I hadn't talked to in a long time. And I called the person up and I said, do you have $300? And they kind of laughed. And I said, well, I want you to be on. I said, what's wrong? Do you need my money? I said, no, I want you to be on my team. And their response was politely was no. That wasn't their response, but there was a few epitaphs in there. And I said, well, just let me talk about it a minute. And then someone called and I had to hang up. And then I got back to them and I said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to give me your credit card. We're going to sign you up for $30. We're going to put in an order of hand creams and body care things. When you get that order, what am I going to do with all of this stuff? I said, when you get your order, you're going to take the packing slip out for your taxes. You're going to call the administrator of your local hospital. And you're going to tell them that you have some really nice Mary Kay products you want to donate to their staff. And then you're going to take it down and you're going to meet with the administrator personally and hand them to them. You are not going to take them in and put them on the counter because they're just going to disappear with the first person who finds them. And then you're going to get a receipt for your taxes. So you're going to purchase at wholesale, but you're going to donate at retail. So you're getting a double whammy on your taxes, a double gift, as it were, on your taxes. So that went over well. Then I talked to my main recruit, and she was having issues, a financial issue with one of her people. And somebody else had called her and suggested the same thing. Well, why don't you see if they've made their annual donation yet this year, because they're philanthropists, and have them just get an order to donate. And so that whole donate scenario, I went straight to my computer. I put a YouTube video, like 5 minutes, and I did the same thing. It's like, okay, you don't want to become a consultant? I can see that. You don't want to sell Mary Kay? I can see that. You want to pay full price for your makeup? I don't really understand that, but that's okay. So why not be a philanthropist? You can sign on for $30. You can buy $225, get $450 worth of product, and then turn around and donate to your local nursing home and hospital and take the write-off at retail. And I posted that to all my customers. And the next day someone called and says, is it too late to be a philanthropist? And she joined my team. So it's just that kind of thinking outside the box. Instead of thinking you're recruiting the next national sales director, which you may very well be. But I mean, that's not, you want to look at what's in it for them kind of thing. And we don't have a responsibility, we don't care what they do with it. I shouldn't say, that's not the right words. We have a responsibility to offer it to them. When you take your dog to the vet, they don't come out and give you an estimate based on what your financial situation is, do they? No. They come out with an estimate that they feel is in the absolute best interest of your dog. When you go to the dentist or the doctor, it's the same thing. They do not give you an estimate based on your financial ability. They give you an estimate on what is absolutely in the best interest of you or your child. So then if that's a problem financially, then you work on plan B. You go to an alternative, they come down. And that's just the same way with us. It's not our job. It's not even polite or good of us to judge their financial situation. Our job is to offer them the opportunity to be the best person that they can be. If you stop and think about, why did you join Mary Kay? Why did you join Mary Kay? And when you answer that question, are you glad that somebody offered you the opportunity, that they didn't judge how much money you had or what you were going to do with it? It was really not their concern. Their job was to offer you the opportunity, which you and your wisdom took up, and it did and signed up. So your job is to offer that opportunity to anyone and everyone you see. Give them the facts they need to make an informed decision. The decision is up to them. And it really doesn't matter what their decision is. You're going to love them and guide them and help them, regardless of why they decide whatever it is that they decide. And once that kind of thinking started seeping into my little pea brain, then we needed 20. I have 17 personal recruits in March. It's my commission check for March is $1,279. I think my highest commission rate before that was a couple of hundred or something like that. So it's just a matter of fixing what's between the ears, what's between the brain, thinking your mindset, and stop thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me? What's it going to do? They're going to say no. So what if they say no? It's like, okay, how many no's does it take to get to a yes? Your law of averages. If you're not tracking your averages, you should be. So that was kind of the journey. It hasn't really registered until today. I signed on to In Touch and it said, congratulations, you're a new sales director. And I got my unit number. It's like, oh,
nice.
I haven't been really official. I mean, it's been in the works, but the computers hadn't caught up with the paperwork and everything that went
around
in.
the 6th or the 7th of the month.
Yeah, so it happened today and I was really excited. And Melanie, your turn is coming in. Melanie and I were running mates throughout this. The first couple of months we were doing our own little private Zooms, weekly Zooms. It's like, okay, how are you? What are you doing? Where are you at? And so on and so forth. And when Melanie's down in Fallbrook, we were attending a lot of the same events in Red Jacket. As a matter of fact, didn't we kind of debut at the same time in Red Jacket, I think, down there in Fallbrook at the center?
I was in Red already, but I know that I was part of your debut. I don't think I got to attend, but I remember sending a little red something gift for you, because that's what we like to do.
He's in a jar, in a mayonnaise jar. Yes, that's very cute.
So Pat, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What would have held you back? What is one thing that would have held you back, and what has changed? Like, what are your plans now moving forward as a sales director? What's your next goal?
Well, I don't think anything would have held me back once I made the decision. And, you know, it took me 40 years to get this way, but it really didn't. It took me 3 months, because it wasn't till I made the decision that this was something I wanted and was going to go for. And that's pretty much about the middle of December. And that's when you start counting time, because until you make a decision that this is what you want, this is what you're going to go for, you're kind of treading water, or you're just working in the same place. Once you decide on a goal, but it's the decision that counts. Yes, I'm going to do it. As far as going forward, I have 2 goals, 2 immediate goals. I'm at 35,000 something right now toward Queen's Court. So I want the other ring. I've got two diamond rings, Queen's Court of Sales. And I want that topaz. I want that blue topaz ring really bad.
That's
and that
I'm probably gonna get that. That's in the bag.
Yeah, that's pretty much a done deal. The other thing that I want is a car. My car is 2009. It's got a leak. I'm not exactly positive where it is, and I'm not really sure I want to know. Well, I do, and I just got an estimate. It's going to cost about $500. So I'm hoping it holds out till the Chevy Malibu is in my driveway, and then I don't really have to worry about it anymore. Awesome. Goals for other things. One of the reasons in March too was the one thing that I wanted really bad was the iPad, the $9,600 section
that's a iPad on the Star Prize now,
and it's on the Star Prize this month or this quarter too. But I wanted that, and I qualified. I was waiting. That's one of those things. I was waiting for the orders to come in on the 15th to see how much I was going to have to order to finish it out. But we managed to get that done. I think there again, there's a lot of things happening at 9:45 California time, because the deadlines are always at 10 p.m. California time to get these things done. But I did get it, because my iPad is old and it doesn't have a lot of storage or anything left. And I really needed, plus it's engraved. It's got Mary Kay's logo and it's engraved on it. I mean, who wouldn't want it?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, girl. So proud of you. So excited to have you as part of our sister sales directors. There's so many great things that are going to be happening, and just to be able to have you debut this year at, again, a virtual seminar. But I know, Rebecca will do something so extraordinary just for you, because I know how dear you are to her heart. And all the countless telephone calls that we've had about, not about you, but for you, and you too, Diane. I mean, it's been so great being in the middle and knowing Rebecca and just being a part of that. I kind of feel like I'm the blessed one. Like y'all are just kind of make it all happen that way. And I love it. I love the family of Mary Kay when it comes all together like this. So thank you so much for sharing. And I hope that you stay on and just kind of glean from some of the other things that we might be sharing tonight. And just so proud of you. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you want to ask Pat, or anything? Nothing. Y'all are so quiet tonight. What the heck?
Thank you for having me here, Kimberly. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, I don't know who else would I want except a brand new sales director, my girlfriend. So proud of you, Pat. So excited for you. All right.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to